for someone who's trying to be recognized, to be seen a little bit more, and as someone who, like we were saying a year ago, you were ultimately a nobody, right? No one knew who you were. What would be maybe your first tip or a couple of tricks to get people to start seeing you?
First would be just to know what you offer, know what sets you apart from other people.
When you say offer, do you mean like what you actually sell, what people can buy from you?
Right. So what services you provide, and then I guess really what pain points those solve for people, because it should be more about how you're helping somebody else. And so understanding what services or product that you provide that will help someone and how does it help them. Because you really, anybody who says, oh, my customer is anybody who's breathing, well, that's not true. So you really have to dig down and figure out who is your real customer. And then you have to look at yourself and say, well, what is it about me that sets me apart from other people? Because there's going to be salespeople or people who provide this service or this product or whatever it is. And you have to figure out what differentiates yourself and then how to articulate that. So it's really kind of a exploration process in the beginning before
you couldn't say something either. I don't feel as bad.
Right. No, that happens all the time. So if you follow me on LinkedIn, I post videos of me not being able to talk.
Oh yeah, they're
fun. So that would be the first part of it.
So let me deep dive into that a little bit more. So how do you not always? This is where I think people get messed up with this. How do you? So you know what you sell. You know the place where you want to hang out. You know the sandbox. You know who your target customer is. How do you not become that annoying salesperson then that just pushes out a commercial 24/7, but is on brand enough to then get that attention and engagement that they're looking for, which is ultimately what I think you've been able to accomplish?
Mm-hmm. So it's basically finding information that would be helpful to someone. And so posting things that are educational and that you're not looking for anything in return. You're just looking to help people. And if it helps one person by giving some information about maybe some sort of topic, because what I'll do is I'll be talking to a potential client or customer and they'll ask a question. And I think, well, if they have that question, then a bunch of other people may have that question as well. So let me post about this to help people. And I'm not looking for anything in return. And I think that's, if anybody listens to Gary Vee, that's his big thing too, is just go out there with trying to help people and not expecting anything back from them. And that's where you're going to find more success. And if you genuinely do that, and there's people who will kind of pretend like they're trying to help, but then as soon as they finish talking, they go into the sales pitch. So it's being genuine about helping the people that you want to get in front of. Go ahead.
When is it appropriate then to make that sales pitch? Because I think, because then, there's these lines you're saying, genuine. There can be someone genuine, but genuinely I also want you to buy from me, right?
Right. And I don't know if it's different in my business or not, but it's when people contact me and say either A, I'm ready to do something, or I know somebody who's ready to do something, and then just talking to them and asking a bunch of questions and then finding out, are they ready to transact? And if they are, then not being overly like, oh, well, then you got to work with me. It's just, I don't know. It goes back to not having that sales pitch and, constant salesman attitude. So I don't know. I get people just calling me. So whatever I'm doing.
So it's, if you have enough information, you can then articulate a proposal of sorts in there, or like, when do you start pitching your service though in there? Are they just, because you've been doing all this other stuff, they're calling you then?
Right, because they already know that they want to work with me.
So once you get someone on the phone, that's when you feel okay with doing it?
Yeah, and I think it's because they've opened that conversation of, I've seen what you've done, or somebody told me about you, and
it's very clear that you're not in brand building. You're in, I'm going to secure you as a sale. Okay.
Right. Yeah, and so I think that's the part of it, that if you're good enough at putting yourself out there and people already know, then they're going to seek you out, and they're going to be the ones to say, okay, sell to me now. Like, how do I work with you? And if if people don't do that, that's fine. But I don't know that in my business, you can necessarily relate that to maybe who's somebody who's selling solar panels or something. You know what I mean? Like it could be that there's a very clear way that they need to sell to somebody that's a little bit different than me.
Because you have a longer period of time between.
Yeah, and I think just the product is different. So the product is me, and so I'm as a landlord representative trying to lease their space. Then it's a relationship again, and it has to be that somebody enjoys working with me, and that they that we work well together with the communication, and that I listen to what they need from me, and that I provide that. So, I mean, I don't know. I didn't go through any like extensive sales training background or anything. I just know that this is what's worked for me, and I don't go into some big sales pitch. It's just like here's how I can help you, and do you want my help?